question is around life coach qualification.
Hmm.
What do you need in terms of qualification to be a life coach?
Well, technically, you don't need anything, and it is a problem that the field faces. It's a problem that I think will be resolved, in that there will be a state, there will be some nation, some official body is going to start to regulate the term. There was some legislation in Oregon here 4 years ago now. Didn't make it out of the first chamber, but it was interesting to see it and how, like, even just to see the bill go through a little bit. The But it will happen. Other than that, there are a number of bodies, the ICF, Health Board, there are a couple in the UK as well, that certify organizations and individuals in a specific kind of life coaching, which I think will be the standard of what life coaching will be 5, 10 years from now. There are a lot of questions about it. There are a lot of people making videos, making fun of life coaches about it, which makes my heart sad. And a lot of misconception of what the field is. And I think what will happen, because I've experienced it, I've experienced other people being trained as coaches in professional coaches, professional coach training that is accredited by these third party bodies. I That works. It is a field. It's not just people. I mean, people who are untrained, I don't know what kind of product they're actually delivering, or what kind of value they're creating. I imagine they're more advising, giving a lot of advice, just doing what you would imagine a life coach would do. But instead, what we as coaches do, we deliver empowerment. So rather than knowledge, and that's a whole different paradigm. What I think will happen, I think best practice is to get certified through the ICF, and then another coaching organization if you want to. That is best practice, and it will ensure that you have a very strong skill set and can deliver value, consistent value. And so those are my thoughts on it. I feel like I've yeah, I've looked at this a lot of different ways. I'm hoping a state will do it, because then that opens it up. The latest development is the health board is working with insurance companies right now, where a coach who is a health board coach working with a physician can charge insurance for coaching sessions. So that's a game changer. And a lot of HR, that's a game changer in the wellness health side. In the executive side, companies now are companies who are hiring coaches, like Raj, like you, understand the value of the ICF or some accreditation. So there is becoming, I think, in the field, even if without state intervention, there is an awareness of people who know the field, know what to look for in terms of accreditation. That's relatively new. I'd say in the past 5 years, I've noticed a huge, yeah, just a huge increase in awareness in the last year or two. Curious from your standpoint too. I mean, you're in it. You're deep in the executive world, in the executive coaching space. Uh, what have you seen about awareness of credentialing in terms of and getting the contracts with these organizations?
Yeah, I think for me, it's been critical. I get asked for it. I think organizations are really aware of it. Um, Business schools that I've done work with as well, corporations that I contract with, they've actually all asked me for ICF accreditation.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, the training, the certification, going on to accreditation, I think is really important. It's critical. I was coaching for a very long time and had done all different kinds of programs before I came to Coach Training EDU, and they were great, and a lot of that contributed to where I'm at. And I don't say this lightly, and I'm not just saying it because John's honest to God truth. It wasn't until I did the training and certification with Coach Training EDU. I mean, it elevated my coaching to another level. And I like to have that certification and then the accreditation, because it gives you that credibility out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and another thought that I had, I often hear a lot of people will say, "Oh, I'm interested in being a coach." People tell me I'm a great listener. or they always come to me with their problems. And it's great. It is great to have those skills already. Yet it's a bit like I'm also a qualified interpreter. I'm not practicing anymore. But just because you speak a language does not make you a great interpreter if you don't have a framework. And I feel it's a bit like you can be a great listener and maybe a great asking questions. But once you put a framework around it or you go into a program, it takes it to a different level.
Yeah, I really. I think back and to think, well, who would I be as a coach if I didn't get trained? And then I shudder at the thought. It's not good. Yeah.
What's Coach
I,
Training EDU's mission? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, John, around kind of getting coaching out there in the world.
yeah, I mean, for me, it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot about wanting to, get this, this kind of work into the academic space. And the driver of coaching is the executive space. And the executive space looks to the wellness space. So I feel like there are all these fields, all these spaces are looking to see what is happening. It's a lot like math, like, the very edges of math. Let's say that there are maybe a dozen problems that mathematicians are like currently like working for, and when there's a breakthrough in one of them, they'll read about it and they'll scurry and look at all of the other like the implications in all the other places. I feel like the coaching field is a little bit like that in the sense of, okay, so what's happening in terms of leadership development or strengths based development? What does that, what's happening there? When you look at the wellness fields, and oh wow, like there's so much like knowledge around. Okay, these are sleep, successful sleep habits. These are habits around exercise. These are habits around communication. These are habits around even like exercise, work life balance, work life integration. So much knowledge is being produced that I feel like is just percolating through the fields. For me, the mission of Coach Training ED is really bring that to those fields, and especially the academic field. And that's for me. But it's exciting. I feel like it's already happening. It's just our mission is to speed it up. And I want to understand. If I think at the beginning when I started this, it always felt like, oh, get it started. Like we need to like start this. It's like, no, it's now happening. And so now it's more around the speed of it, which feels nice. It's not an if, it's more of a when.